Well, I'm back 4.5 hours later, and this feels fine for the first coat. I'm ready to put that second coat on, I guess. So it just depends on your weather conditions, how long it's going to be for your paint to dry. But, you know, 4 to 6 hours is what it says. I guess I'm gonna, I don't know, try to leave this all intact if I can, because I'll put it back up when I get done painting, yeah? I think I'll do that. Oh, false alarm, it's dry. And when you go to the paint store too, generally, wherever you get your paint, they might give you one of these little cool openers for free and you don't have to pay for it. I mean, you can buy them at the hardware store for about $1 or 50 cents or so, but why do that if they'll give you one anyways if you buy the paint there? Just put that back on there like that. I'm going to give this a quick stir. I shouldn't have to do much to that. I just want to make sure there's no skin on the top because it's been 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours. So put the first bit on there. Ooh. I've got to cut it all in again first, right? Okay. Oh, bad Joe, darn it. Okay, let's see how my paintbrush did. It's all nice and it's ready to go. Now see, I got some paint spillage on the back side of that, but at least it's on the back side and it's not covering up the name of the paint in case next time I need to check it to get another gallon or something. Okay, so it's all about cut in again. You know, you should know how to do that by now. And you know, a little bit at a time, practice makes perfect. I'm just gonna get on down here again and put some more on.
So you're going to do the edges again.
I'm going to do all the edges once again. I want to get 2 full coats all the way to the edges. Does it matter? Yes, I'd say it matters. I want to do a good job, and it may look like I didn't cut that in very nicely, but I was trying to follow the existing from before. Okay. Still using my cheap 2-inch paintbrush. Do you need a special cut-in brush for this? Not really. That's why I like working out of this little paint tray, because I know I'm going to have to get into it anyways with my roller. I might as well pour it in there, then I don't have to slide the gallon container around. It's a little bit quicker and easier to get it out of the paint tray. Still got to be mindful. I don't want to just start slopping stuff on here without thinking and I get the paint all up on the existing. Now if I did get some on there, I could have a wet sponge ready and a rag and all that, you know. Or if you have the existing paint to your exterior walls, you can use that, touch it up if you mess up. Always have a little game plan before you get your paint out and start going, okay? That's why I got this little mat here. I like using that. I use that for everything. If you've been watching my videos, I carry this little mat around, and every time I get down on my hands and knees, don't I? I plop that down and away I go. Now I wasn't even planning on using this little 2-inch brush because I thought it might not work very well, but it's working fine. And I used this for another little project earlier, and it doesn't even have a nice straight edge to it. But once you get the paint on there, wiggle it around a little bit, you know, it does its job. Okay, so keep at it. And I'm going to keep doing the same, and I'll show you the cut-in when I get done. Okay. Ask your question. Go on.
Well, I asked Joe, why do you have to do the edges again if they look fine, they look perfect? No one would know that it only has one coat. It looks perfect.
Well, I'm basically, yeah, it does look pretty good with one coat, huh?
It does.
Well, first off, I do have the paint here. It's not going to take me that much longer to do a second coat, and I'm going to get a nice full body paint job on here. I can see a few little imperfections. It's going to make the paint a little bit thicker, and I have a feeling it's going to make it last longer. So I don't want to just paint this with a roller and go up as tight as I can with it and leave some around the edge, because a second coat, whenever you do something a second time, and if you don't cut it all in, you're going to see, you have the possibility of seeing the line where you stopped your roller and where the wall is, because
That's true.
two coats are going to look different than one coat. Okay,
That's true.
so that's kind of why.
So it is worth it then.
Oh yeah, it's worth it. And plus we got the gallon of paint. We only used maybe a quart so far, so why not use it? Now if I only had a quart container, and after the first coat, if I looked at it and said, well, I don't have enough for a second coat, well, I would have gotten it, I wouldn't have done that. I would have gotten a second can, a little second quart container, just in case I needed it. Plus, I could use that for touch-up later on. Because don't forget, people are going to be walking on this all the time. They're going to put some pots up here, they're going to put some mats up here. And maybe 6 months from now you can lift up the mat and see if there's any damage to the paint or anything. And you can give it a quick little go where the mat is, where the pots are, if it's leaked or rusted anywhere, and you don't have a bottom container at the bottom of your planter pot, you know. And so I always make sure, I don't like to go down to the nitty gritty and try to figure just exact on what I need, because I always like to have paint left over. We're going to have plenty of paint left over because we had to get a gallon of this. Some paints you may have to get a gallon. You might not be able to get a couple quarts. But like I said, if you end up thinking you're going to need 2 full quarts, you might as well get a gallon anyways.
Didn't you say there's also some window sills that need some touch-up around the side?
Well, maybe, but I wouldn't use this paint because this is different than the other semi-gloss exterior paint that you had for your doors,
That's right.
and your screens, and your window frames. So this paint here is going to be exclusively used just for your flooring out here. And it's got, if you look at it, there's a slight sheen to it, and that's from the little bit of epoxy that's in there for the exterior paint. And I don't want it any more glossy than this. I was thinking about using a low sheen eggshell enamel or something like that. But this gives you just a little bit, and with this type of finish, when it gets wet, I'm hoping it's not going to be slippery. And I don't think it will, because they've used this exclusively for exterior concrete floors in garages. You know, sometimes you get water in the garage floor. You don't want to be slipping on that, do you? You come in from the outside elements, if it's raining, whatever.
Good to know. Thank
Okay. Okay. Now, can I get back to work?
you. Yes.
But I like the questions because some of the viewers might have those questions. So, you know, if you got another question, fire up the camera and let it rip and ask me. Maybe Joe knows.
All right.